Alright, Brush Monkeys, we're back, and I'm kind of excited to get at this package here. This is some figures I ordered from TT Combat, Tabletop Combat. It's a company that makes miniatures for a lot of different games, like Drop Zone Commander, I think they're most known for. They make a lot of MDF terrain and things like that. But they had some really cool looking miniatures for this game called Carnevale. And it's set in 1745. I'm looking at their website now. So the year is, 1795 in Venice. And it's kind of a tabletop skirmish game of different factions. It says the great rent has torn open reality and sunk most of Europe beneath the waves. The only place stands untouched by the calamity is Venice. The rent in the sky has opened the path for otherworldly phenomena. Magic spills out from a world beyond the veil, bringing with it creatures devoted to ancient deities, beings who look on the burgeoning Venetian Empire and smile at the madness unfolding. And it's like I said, it's a tabletop skirmish game. Your crews consist of like 5 or 6 miniatures, and you vie for different control of different checkpoints and objective markers and things throughout the city. And it seems, just looking at the rules and the things I've read of the game, it kind of seems like it's similar to Malifaux. For those of you that are familiar with that, it's Malifaux basically set in 1795 Venice, which sounds derivative, but it actually sounds kind of interesting. But the miniatures looked really cool, and the miniatures kind of looked like, some of them sort of looked like they'd fit in the Assassin's Creed games with Ezio and them. So I ordered some of them, and now I got the box, so I'm doing an unboxing and review of these guys. This will be the first time I take a look at these. You can see I'm tearing open the packaging. Alright, so we've got, this is the kind of thing tabletop usually has, is this kind of MDF terrain. And then I got a free wine voucher. I don't know why all these places come with wine vouchers. I don't know if they just get, like, do partnerships with wineries, or they think all miniature painters are alcoholics. Not sure what's up with that. And got more than I need of blue peanuts. I'm glad I cleared off the desk for this, because holy hell. Alright, so first up we got a little envelope here. I don't know what's in any of this stuff. I'm so excited to look at this. Oh, this has got a lot of the figures. Okay, 1, 2, 3. See, I ordered 9 figures and then a pack of bases. So I'm guessing this is the figures. Alright. Zoom in on these guys. Holy hell. That is Doctor of the Mind. And he's got some little extra bits to be glued on there. And they all come with these kind of plain bases. This is why I ordered the bases, because the bases are resin and look quite a bit better. Here's a Venetian noble lady in a Carnival type dress. I'm getting peanuts all over the house. Well, this is one of the guys that I thought looked like he'd be in Assassin's Creed, I think. Yeah. I'm going to have to take these guys out of the bag later and check them out, but just wanted, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm hoping there's another one in there, because I ordered 9. There's the Pope guy that I ordered. He looks pretty slick. And it looks like, much like the Sisters of the, Daughters of the Crucible, there's going to be some cleanup to be done on these guys, cleanup and assembly. This is another one that I thought was an Assassin's Creed kind of guy. These are all made out of resin, but they're supposedly made out of resin, but they look like a combination of resin and plastic. Not sure. I'm looking at all these little pieces thinking, oh, there's some neat stuff in here. Alright, oh, okay. Well, there's my bases, and this is why I wanted the bases. Bases are these all like Venetian cobblestone kind of bases. So I thought those are going to be really cool. And there's 30 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 in that one, and oh yeah, 16 bases. For some reason I keep thinking there's 30 bases. All right, there's some of the other guys, an 8, and I guess this is usually the packaging that they normally come in. And yeah, there we go. This is the, who is this? It's Rialto Assassin. This is another Assassin's Creed kind of guy. Trying to back the camera up a little bit here. Yeah, so that's what these guys look like. Black Lamp looks like he's going to take a lot of cleaning up because there's a lot of excess resin in between those pieces there. I'm not sure what happened there, but that is a lot of cleanup to be done. I thought the Daughters of the Crucible needed some cleaning. These guys really need a lot of work. I think that's all of them. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I'm going to cram all this stuff and all these god-awful peanuts back in this box. And we'll start, I'm going to open up the box of bases here and take a look at them, because it looks like the bases need a little cleaning up too. Okay. Seriously, TT Combat, if you're watching this video, these things have to go. This is ridiculous. These are literally all over my shop right now. Like half of them fell on the floor. Unnecessary. As far as ordering from TT Combat goes, they come from Great Britain, and their customer service was really nice when I got a hold of them finally, because it took a... Now granted, I'm ordering this during the... some of you may remember the COVID outbreak last year. I'm way ahead of schedule on these videos, so I'm filming this during that outbreak, and it's going to air like a year later. But, so I ordered during that, and I didn't hear anything for a month. And then I sent him an email and said, hey, what's going on with this? I know you're running on a skeleton crew and all, but what's up with this? And they sent me back an email saying, you know, we shipped it out some time ago, and it should be to you any day now. And it got to me like the day after I got the email saying that it should be to you any day now. And then they sent me the tracking number this morning, and when I looked it up, it said it was out for delivery. So their email got back to me just a little bit before the figures did. So aside from that, looks like their packaging, their clamshell packaging looks really sturdy. Like I'm gonna need some. There's gonna be some work to get into this. Yeah, it's all like clamped down around the edges here. You can see the little ridge on there. So I'm gonna break out the X-Acto knife here. There's a lot of extra little chunks of resin in the package of bases here too. Obviously, with these being resin miniatures, there's going to be some extra cleanup involved. There's going to be, holy hell. There's going to be some extra cleanup involved. There's going to be some extra, going to need super glue to glue them together and all that kind of thing. One of those bases got away from me. But overall, yeah, some of them come right out the package looking really good. Not a whole lot of mold lines here. There's a couple little rough spots. But then there's others that have, like this one's got a big chunk of resin still hanging on it. So yeah, those look like they clean up pretty easily. The I mean, even the ones with big pieces of flash on them, the flash just kind of snaps right off. It peels off. And then you can use I'm using a Citadel seam scraper and just scraping it off. It's coming off real easily. I suppose if I really want to get fancy with it, I could take a nail file around the edges and smooth them down. A little nail file. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. That does it. Ooh, look how pretty that is. That is so smooth. That is so smooth and so nice. Nice. They all seem to sit fairly flat on the table. Again, they look like they're two different kinds of resin, because you got this darker gray that kind of looks like the Citadel plastic, and then you got this lighter gray that looks like what you'd think resin would look like. And I realized as I held those up on the on the camera, there's like visually no difference between them. This one's a little bit darker than this one. Yeah, they look pretty good. They all sit fairly flat and not wobbling or anything. Really well done castings. The figures themselves look gorgeous. I'm going to take this lady out of her. I don't know which of these I'm going to start with, but I just want to take this one out and get a closer look at it. Okay. Right off the bat, I can tell you that you can feel the release agent on them. I mean, you can see it's kind of shiny, but you can feel that kind of slick feeling to them. I'm kind of afraid I'm going to drop her. She's got a big chunk of resin sprue right there that I'm kind of wondering how I'm going to have to saw that one off. I won't just cut off with an X-Acto knife. You got to hacksaw that thing down. There we go. Alright. That's like the biggest piece of sprue I've ever seen on any figure I've ever ordered. Holy hell. That was enormous. Okay. Beauty. So, okay, that one's going to need a little more cleaning up. But she is a Venetian noblewoman. Let me see if I can get this to zero in a little bit. It's kind of hard to make out with the lights on the bare plastic and all, but she's got a little. She got a mask and a really elaborate gown. It's going to be an absolute joy to paint. I'm going to love painting this girl. She is so gorgeous. And let's see. She got a fan, she got a little dagger, she got some other little thing, but yeah, all of this is the extra sprue of stuff that came with her, and you can see this all has a ton of crap on it that needs to be cleaned off. I'm not sure what that little piece is supposed to be. I don't know if that's supposed to be a hilt for her dagger or... None of these miniatures came with instructions on how to put them together either, so what I've got here is I've got a hand holding a fan right here, and then there's a hand holding a dagger here, which has a lot of stuff that needs to be cleaned off it, and then there's this extra little kind of cup-shaped thing with, I don't know if it's a part of what the thing is or just an extra piece of sprue that needs to be cut off or what the hell that is. I have no idea what this piece is. And I'd like to think, because it's Venice in 17 whenever, that may be a basket hilt for the dagger, that maybe that just goes right over there. Or maybe over the back of her hand. I can't tell. I'm going to have to go look some pictures up online and see what I can find on that. But You can kind of see once she's cleaned up, she'll go on the base like that, and she almost takes up that entire base. I almost don't need the cobblestone part of it. Maybe back her up a little bit so she's on the edge like that. You can see the cobblestones on there. You can see she's going to look really good on that base. Maybe move her over to one of these other. They're kind of all the same size. But yeah, put her on that base and she's going to look really good. So I wanted those cobblestone bases for all these guys because I think that's going to make a big difference in how they look. Again, they didn't come with any kind of assembly instructions. They didn't come with any kind of care or cleaning instructions. So I'm going to treat these like the Daughters of the Crucible from Raging Heroes, which fortunately I held on to their cleaning and assembly instructions. Well, they didn't have assembly instructions, but they had the cleaning instructions. And so I'm going to go ahead and follow those and get all these cleaned up, and we'll start painting them next week. Yeah. So I'm fairly impressed with these guys. I mean, they all look, just looking around at the figures, they seem kind of big for 28mm. Like this guy, they're supposed to be 28mm. They're all in scale with each other, but that seems like a really huge dude for 28mm. But on the other hand, that's going to make it easier to paint. So I'm not really arguing with that at all. I'm not sure why this guy has both a Crozius and what appears to be a halberd. I mean, he's a pope. He's not going to be standing there with a polearm. And I didn't see the polearm in his, I think I got a piece from another figure in here. That's kind of interesting. Okay. And this guy is one of the Assassin's Creed-y looking guys. Now on this guy, I know those little curved things are parts of the basket hilt because I showed him with the basket hilts on the pictures. So I know that one's going to be a little easier to get into. That'll be fun. One of these guys is supposed to be a plague doctor. I'm trying to find him because the plague doctor looked amazing. This guy's another. Okay, when I said these guys were kind of Assassin's Creed looking guys, I want you to take a look at this little bit right here. He's even got the frickin' dagger on the underside of his arm here, so I don't know how you can say that's not supposed to be Assassin's Creed. That's funny. Okay, I think this guy is the plague doctor. You can see he's got a nice built-up body there, and I think I'm sure one of these sprues has the plague doctor mask on it. Yeah, there you go. Come on. Stop messing around with me here. So I got one sprue that's got his arms. I got one sprue that's got, there we go, a head and a hat. There's the plague doctor mask and the hat that goes on him. And this guy is called the Doctor of the Mind. Not sure entirely what that entails. I'm not sure what those two pieces there are, but they look like they tack onto them somewhere. On the other hand, it also kind of looks like if they don't, it's no big deal. It might go right there on his chest. Trying to figure out what this guy is. This guy looks really freaking cool, though. And really elaborate, really nice detail on these. I mean, there's a little bit of design on his jacket there. Really nice design on the back of it here that looks like brocade. It's just really beautiful. That's going to be fun to kind of dry brush that a little bit and bring that detail out. See how that guy looks when he's done. This guy is going to be fun because of all the excess all the excess resin on him. This guy and this guy. But yeah, they all look like they're kind of sort of out of Assassin's Creed 2 or 3, whichever one that he ended up going to Venice in. But they look really good, and I'm really kind of happy with them so far. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here and get these folks cleaned up and assembled, and then we'll come back and take another look at them once they're done and attached to their base and everything. They're all pretty. All right. So I'll see you soon. Bye. Alright, so I've started assembling these figures and putting them in the sonic cleaner to get cleaned up. And I came across this little oddity that I thought was weird. These two were both in the blister packs, and they're both essentially the same blister pack. Got all the same information and everything. The one on the left is the Rialto Assassin. It's this guy. The one on the right is the Black Lamp. The Rialto Assassin came packaged with this piece of foam that's kind of like, it's almost like foam core foam. It's like foam rubber. It's really kind of nice and thick and you know, not the typical stuff that you usually find in miniature blister packs. The other guy, the Black Lamp, came with exactly the kind of stuff you usually find in blister packs. The kind of open cell foam that you find in just about every other miniature packaging. So their packaging is kind of inconsistent. Like, you get two different materials out of there, which I don't know. I want to say is a mark against the company, just because they're clearly not going with a consistent supplier. But at the same time, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, they're both protective of the miniature. It's just there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason why one's used over the other. I'm also looking at the cardboard insert here, and son of a I went through all the trouble of cutting this thing apart, and look, it pushes out from the back there. So I didn't need to take that thing apart at all. Didn't need to cut it apart at all to get it into that. This one does the same thing. It does. Son of a bitch. Okay, so the packaging is a lot easier to get into than it looks. The insert with these is just a generic insert. It's got a little tag on there that says what the miniature is. It says some cleaning and assembly may be required along with filling small holes. Modeling tools may be required to trim and assemble. We recommend painting the miniatures with water-based acrylic paint. Nothing unusual there, but again, nothing in the way of like box art, or nothing in the way of assembly instructions or anything like that, cleaning instructions. There's a little symbol up at the top that says what faction in the game the figure belongs to, but that's about it. So yeah, again, I'm pretty impressed with the figure, with the level of detail in the figures. I'm not terribly impressed with the packaging or mailing just yet. So I'm going to go ahead and get the two that I've gotten finished out of the sonic cleaner and put these two in, and then we'll go from there. Alright, see you soon. Bye. Alright, so I just put parts of the last two into the sonic cleaner. I've been trying to only do two at a time so I can keep the parts all straight. I've got all the parts of these other guys laid out on the towel here to dry, so I'm going to give them some time to dry. These three guys I've got assembled already because they seem like the easiest, least number of parts and all. And I gotta say, I'm really kind of pleased with them. They're still a little bit, the flat surfaces are still a little bit slick. I think that's just the nature of the resin. I think it's going to take I think it's going to be okay when it comes to painting them. I think it's going to take the paint okay. This is the Bishop. The pole arm that came with the Bishop was just an extraneous part. I don't know what was up with that, but it came okay. I don't know what the little curve thing was. As I was cleaning it, I dropped it, so it's not an important part, so I just lifted it off. I did get out these three figures. These are parts of my Malifaux crew, the 10 Thunders guild, and I just brought them out as kind of a size comparison between the Malifaux figures and the Carnevale figures, because I said the gameplay of each was kind of similar, and I could tell right away the bases are about the same size. The figures themselves for Carnevale are just a little bit bigger than Malifaux. However, that having been said, the Malifaux figures were kind of a pain to assemble, the ones that needed to be assembled. Obviously this guy doesn't. This guy's just one piece, but the ones that did need to be assembled were an awful pain to put together. You can see they've been sitting on the shelf because I don't play Malifaux a whole lot. They've just been sitting on the shelf gathering dust. But you can see, size-wise, they're pretty close. It's like a difference between 28mm and 32mm. So if you were going to buy Carnevale figures and use them as a Malifaux crew, as kind of a counts as sort of thing, you could probably get away with it. They're not terribly off in scale. Like I said, a difference between maybe 28mm and 32mm. So it's not a huge thing. The ones that I put together, her, and to a lesser degree the Bishop, had a lot of cleaning to do. They've gone together fairly easily. There is a lot of extraneous resin on these figures. So, I mean, there's a lot of pieces that are just covered in extra plastic. Like, this has got this whole piece of the sprue here that I'm going to need to cut off to make room for the arm. Big chunks of sprue I'm going to need to cut off down here, all around here. It's just, they look fantastic. There's just a lot of extraneous plastic. And I kind of feel like if I have to saw all these things off, I should take all these little extra pieces of resin and mail them back to the company. Like maybe they can, I don't know how resin works, melt them down and send me a new figure or something. Like maybe I can get a free figure out of all the extra plastic I send back to them, because it really is kind of a lot of plastic. Some of them more than others. I'm still, yeah, I think I've got the black lamp. There it is. This whole sprue is, there's the one little arm with the dagger here, and one arm holding a lantern, holding up a lantern. The rest of all that is extraneous plastic. It's just extra junk you don't need, and it's ridiculous amounts of plastic you don't need on that guy. So, but the ones I've assembled so far have gone together easier than the Malifaux figures, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to wait for these two guys to come out of the drink and put them on the towel here to dry, and then I'm going to leave them overnight to dry. And then tomorrow I'm going to focus on finishing the assembly, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I'll see you later. Bye. Alright, brush monkeys, I'm back, and as you can see, I've got them all assembled, the 9 figures that I ordered, and they look really fantastic. I'm really happy with how they look. They got a lot of detail on them. They went together actually fairly easily. I've spent probably 45 minutes or so down here and just putting together these 6, which sounds like a lot, but there's, you know, they all had to be clipped off their little sprues and parts cleaned up and all that kind of thing. So 45 minutes is not that bad for assembling 6 really high quality resin figures. I only ran into one little spot on this guy that needed to be filled in with green stuff there. So only one little bubble on all of them. Really well done castings. Really nice little minis here. And they like I said, they went together pretty fast. They look really fantastic. They went together without too much hassle. You can see the detail on those guys, and it's kind of one of the Assassin's Creed guys. You can see his little dagger there. But, oh, another little spot I need to clean up. Oops. That happens. Sometimes you miss a spot. But yeah, they clean up pretty nicely. There's not a whole lot of mold lines on them, with the exception of like little sprue parts like you just saw there. They're pretty straightforward and pretty clean molds, clean castings. So there you go. See that? Cleaned up really nicely off of there. Really quick. God damn it. So yeah, they're not... There's nothing on the bottom of these things to grip onto these corks, so kind of had to re-knead some of the corks to get them on there. But, as you can see, I've got them all on corks, and that means the next step is priming them. And they're all going to be zenithal primed. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and go do that, and then we'll come back and take a look at them when they're done. All right, and we'll see how the primer at least adheres to them, because some of them are still kind of slick, especially on big flat areas like this. You can see they're still kind of shiny even after they've been cleaned. Big areas like her dress. So I'm kind of curious to see how paint adheres to them, but so far I'm pretty happy with them. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pause and go prime them, and then we'll come back and take a look at them. Alright, see you soon. Bye. Alright, I've got them all zenithal primed, and oddly enough, the airbrush gave me a lot more trouble than the miniatures did. And now that they're all done up, you can see the level of detail on them. They're pretty spiffy. I'm pretty happy with how these came out. We're really looking forward to painting these. It's going to be the next couple of weeks. See, from down on high, they got a lot more white than they did on the rest of it. But that's good. I think they're really going to look spectacular when they're done. You can see there's kind of a lot of detail in these guys. And even 3 layers of Badger Steinelrez on there didn't dull down that detail at all. They really came out looking nice. I'm really pretty happy with them. Some of them are going to get a little more airbrush treatment, like I think this guy, the Doctor of His Mind, I'm going to try to do a little OSL around his eyes there. This guy is going to get some OSL with this lantern here. Things like that. I think this Plague Doctor's got some little gadget on his arm that glows too, so he may get a little OSL as well. But yeah, overall, I think I'm really pretty happy with how they turned out. Haven't had any problem with the paint sticking on the slick parts. You can see the capes all came out looking really pretty spiffy there. And really smooth too, so I think that's going to take the paint really well. I think it's going to look really nice when it's done. I'm pretty happy with how they all turned out. Like I said, the airbrush gave me a lot more trouble than the miniatures did. So yeah, so that's the unboxing and review of the Tabletop Games, Tabletop Combat's Carnevale series. Just the miniatures that I've ordered. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this off, and next week we'll get into painting these guys. Alright, we'll see you then. Bye. Hey Brush Monkeys, Tom from Flying Monkey Studios here. If you like what you see, click like down below. If you want to be notified when new videos come out, click subscribe. Both of those help me with my YouTube numbers and help support me doing and what I do best. Speaking of which, if you want to support me more directly, you can visit my Patreon site and go on my Instagram page to see all the miniatures that I paint on this site and how to get your hands on one of your own if you want one. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. You can check both of those to see when new videos get posted. And visit my merch store at storefrontier.com/flyingmonkeystudios. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.